The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host, Ranmay, and today we have Josh, who is the CEO at Digital Marketing Collective with us. Hey, Josh, how is it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Josh, before we move any forward, let's get to know the human behind the mic. Why don't you talk us through your journey a bit? I mean, you have multiple businesses, but you would like to focus on Digital Marketing Collective at this point, and take us through your journey thus far and a bit about Digital Marketing Collective as well. What do you guys do? What do you guys specialize in? And we'll take it off from there.
That sounds great. I appreciate that. Appreciate you having me on the podcast as well. Yeah, it's actually interesting because I accidentally fell into digital marketing, if that makes sense.
Oh, well, all of us did. It was never a career option for any one of us, around that
Yeah,
age starting out.
yeah, exactly. And when I fell into it, digital marketing wasn't as big as it is now. And it was actually an industry, especially in Alberta, that businesses didn't really understand yet. And
Okay.
they didn't really think they needed it. They were still focused a little bit more on traditional marketing. And I just kind of fell into it because I came from an IT background. And
Yeah.
I had a couple of friends that owned businesses, and they asked me if I could help them with, Google Ads is one of the things. They wanted to also get their website to rank. And those things started off, they're very technical. So I took a look. I taught myself a little bit about it. I went through the Google Ads program, and I found I was having success with the people I was helping out doing this. And then that just kind of developed eventually into starting a company doing it. And it's kind of interesting for me because when I started it, it's kind of that story you hear all the time. I started in the basement of my house at the time, and then brought on a partner, and then slowly we started bringing on staff and things like that. But and then it grew from there. But we used to take on pretty much anybody that needed help because again, the industry was fairly new. I think as we've grown and what we've seen our audience just kind of go into, like, it wasn't even planned, but where we've seen our audience go, and when we took a look at typically who we're servicing and who we do a really great job with, it ended up being probably about 90% automotive. And then we also found that we do very well with education and training companies. So essentially those are education and training, automotive, and then probably home services are, 90% of who we service. Every once in a while we'll have a client or a referral from someone maybe not in those industries. And if we think we're a good fit, we'll help them out. But that's essentially who we service at the moment.
Lovely. And then from what I know, DNC started back in 2017. What triggered the idea, starting out your own agency, and what were the initial challenges that you would have faced? I mean, as an entrepreneur, wearing multiple hats, starting an agency, getting the first few clients, wearing multiple hats in the sense that you're selling and you're delivering, and you're hiring, you're maintaining the books, you're
Yeah.
invoicing, you're doing everything, right? So talk us through, the idea that kind of triggered the moment, you felt you should start your own agency, and the initial challenges.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, I kind of fell into it, and then after I realized I was pretty good at it in terms of the Google and some of the technical stuff, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try this. And so it was kind of a risk at the time, for sure, because again, it was digital marketing agencies at the time were new, and so it was a risk. And I said, you know what, though, I enjoy this. I feel like I'm good at it. I like doing it, and I like helping businesses grow. So started it back, yeah, as you mentioned. And actually, there was different iteration before 2017, but in 2014. So, but what started it all is, um, and how it kind of came to fruition is I was actually reaching out just to business owners I knew. And I wasn't charging very much. I was wearing about 20 hats, as probably every entrepreneur has done when they start a business. So I was wearing about 20 hats. I wasn't charging nearly enough. I was working my butt off. And probably the challenges, the biggest challenges were definitely figuring out how do I draw a line in where we can do it instead of trying to do everything. And do I hire staff? Can I afford to hire staff? What's that look like? Does it make sense? When do I hire staff? Those were probably some of the biggest challenges because very quickly we got overwhelmed with work. We were very fortunate that at the time we reached out through a network and we brought on quite a few clients in a short amount of time. So one of our challenges was definitely not client acquisition. What it was, I think, is managing everything and figuring out how to manage everything. And I had never ran a business with employees before. So I think the biggest part of that was, do I need employees yet? When is the best time? And so just through trial and error and learning through people that had done it before and some of the mentors that I had growing up, we had conversations and even business mentors that I just respected in different industries. We had some conversations and they helped shed some light and give some strategy and there was a lot of trials and tribulations throughout the years of figuring it out too. So that a lot of the challenges just had to come down to project management and time and employee management and things like that.
Absolutely. Talking about management, you are leading three businesses now, DMC, Technation, Proper Suite. How do you balance the visionary mindset and how do you kind of balance, work routine and your personal routine? Talk us through the challenges and, yeah, I would really want to know, managing an agency in itself is a, tough thing, right? How did you get time to kind of manage three businesses?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. It's interesting because you don't really think about that a lot, but I think for me, everybody's different. I think for me, I work very well, and it can be more efficient in a structured environment. So I know other people can work better they thrive when it's not structured. I'm the opposite. I like a very structured environment. So it really broke down to if it was things that require my time, I just had to structure my days to make sure I'm spending this amount of time with DMC, this amount of time with Technation, this amount of time with Prosper Suite. And the other big thing is just employees and delegating as well. So making sure that you have people on your team that are really good at what they do, trusting in them to do the jobs they're assigned to do, uh, and not micromanaging. For me, to micromanage that would take away from everything, and I definitely wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. So I think the biggest thing is just trusting the team, and I structure my days they're very structured. So I have it down in my calendar. This is what I'm doing between this time and this time every day, including personal life too. So, I'm working out at this time, I'm doing dinner at this time, I go to bed at this time, I wake up at this time, all of that. And that's what helps me to really be able to do it. I definitely wouldn't want to add any more, but for now it works, and that's how I figured it out, I guess, in my structure anyway.
Lovely. And you also talk about, aligning marketing with sales. So what is your approach to getting both sides walk in sync? And what systems, you have laid out in your agency or your business to ensure that marketing talks to sales and it's a handshake versus the other way around?
Yeah, that's a great question. I like that question quite a bit because that is a big part of also the previous question of keeping things structured and making sure it all works. A big part of it is just like we do for our clients, where we build holistic marketing systems with lead generation, AI, automation, all of that. We do that for ourselves as well. And so that helps keep us organized because we also, on top of having really great staff, we also have good systems in place and we build those systems for our clients. So, for when our clients in the automotive industry, if they need something, we take a holistic approach. We do an audit on where they're currently at. And then based on what that audit tells us, we will see some deficiencies or some room for improvement, or just some things where we can put everything together and marry it together. We like to do that with different tech stacks. Sometimes it only requires one, but it just depends on what the needs are. And that's typically how we start off is we usually do an audit first, figure out where the client is at, and then go from there.
Absolutely. Lovely. Great, Josh. This has been a great conversation. But before I let you go, a quick rapid fire.
Yeah, sure. Okay, here we go.
All right. Your last Google search.
My last Google search. I know this is supposed to be rapid fire. This sounds weird for a marketing guy, but I typically use GPT lately. So my last ChatGPT search was about fitness. So I've recently been on a fitness journey. And so I always ask ChatGPT questions about, is it okay if I do this? And what about this? So I think my last GTP search was about different fasting procedures, stuff like
Oh,
that.
wow. Okay. Your celebrity crush.
Jennifer Aniston.
Where do you find you on Friday evenings after office or after work?
Usually hanging out with my family.
Lovely. The last one will not go any further. What did you do with the first paycheck, Josh? First paycheck of your life.
I took a picture of it, actually,
Nice.
and I kept it. But then, what did I spend it on? I'm boring. I think I just used it to pay some bills. But but I took a picture of it because that was special to me that it was my first one.